Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I recently put up a Facebook status, guys, and I said I will be releasing a video regarding the permissibility of Mawlid and Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Inshallah, that video will be coming out hopefully tomorrow. But this video, I want to do a short video to tackle the fallacies within Dawahman's last video where he tries to refute Imam Asim. Now, before I start this, mention these points, I want to mention one thing. Mawlid al-Nabi, it's not something that is fard or wajib. And it's a very small issue which the ulama of the past have all mentioned, well, not majority have mentioned, like Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, Ibn Taymiyyah, Imam al-Suyuti, Ibn Kathir, all big ulama of the past have mentioned its permissibility. So I don't even know why people even bring this issue up these days. It's not something that's fard or wajib, and people that practice it should not go about it as if it's wajib or fard, and the ones that do not want to take part in it are not blameworthy and do not have to. And the ones that do, inshallah, will be rewarded. Now, before I mention the Dawahman's video, I want you guys to understand a couple of things about Bid'atul Dalala. Bid'atul Dalala means innovation of misguidance. Okay. What is Bid'atul Dalala? The definition of Bid'atul Dalala is that an act which is introduced into deen, which you take part of your worship and expect a reward from Allah, which has not been established from the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now, this act has to be something that's halal. Okay, to bring something haram and says I'm getting reward for it, some ulama say it's kufr. But something that is mubah. For example, if I start walking around in circles or start dancing and doing other stuff, which are all halal, something halal, and say now I'm getting reward for this, and this is part of my worship, this is bid'atul dalala. Also derived from this is another definition, is that if you were to take something that is mustahab or sunnah and take it as wajib or fard, that also becomes bid'atul dalala. For example, if I was to now take the sunnahs of zuhr or any of the 5 prayers, the sunnahs, and say now these have become wajib, that will also be considered as bid'atul dalala. Now, now that's hopefully clear to you what some of the definitions of the bid'ah are, we can now move on to the video which the Dawahman did, where he's trying to refute Imam Asim. He plays in that video a clip of Imam Asim, where Imam Asim is delivering a talk to his people, to an audience, where he is giving them example of what bid'atul dalala is. And Imam Asim says that one of the examples of bid'atul dalala is if you were to add 6th or a 7th prayer in addition to the 5 prayers that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam made an obligation upon us, and to say these are fard, then it becomes bid'atul dalala. Okay, that is a key point. If you are to say that this is a 6th or a 7th prayer, it's a fard, then it's bid'ah. Because if you do not say it's fard, then you can add 6th or a 7th or an 8th prayer, and they will become nawafil. For example, there's examples from the Sunnah where Bilal radiallahu ta'ala anhu, whenever he used to break his wudu, he would renew the wudu. And when he renewed the wudu, he used to pray 2 rakah nawafil, and that was his practice. And when the Prophet ﷺ found out about this, he went to Bilal and he praised him for this. Then later on, that practice was known as Tahiyatul Wudu, and is mentioned in fiqh books. So, if somebody was to add 6th or 7th prayer as a nawafil, that's perfectly fine. Now, what Dawahman does is, he takes that and he says, now the Prophet ﷺ mentioned 3 Eids. If you were to now add a 4th Eid, that would become bid'ah, exactly how Imam Asim said. But Imam Asim did not say that. He said if you was to say it's fard. Now if anybody says milad is fard, is bid'atul dalala, it's an innovation of misguidance, and that is something haram because the Prophet ﷺ had to have mentioned it. Okay? Now, if you were to now bring about another celebration which invites people to worship Allah and the Prophet ﷺ, that becomes mustahab. It's nawafil. So if you're allowed to add 6th or 7th prayer, if somebody was to add an additional prayer and call it tahiyatul walidain, that we're gonna I'm praying 2 nafil for my parents, and then make that as a practice, that will be something that is recommended and mustahab, and that is an additional prayer which is not haram or not, nor is it bid'ah. Okay, so similarly, if you were to now add a 4th celebration, and which becomes a nawafil, it is not bid'ah. So this is where Dawahman completely has got it wrong, and he is trying to refute Imam Asim on that point, and he has not understood the point himself. And so hopefully from this it's clear to you that it's not bid'ah, and Imam Asim did not say it's bid'ah dul dalala, and Miladun Nabi only becomes bid'atul dalala if it is deemed as fard. If it's a nawafil or a supererogatory occasion and a matter in deen, similarly to adding other nawafils into your daily nawafil prayers into your daily schedule, and that also is something that's recommended and is not haram. Now, inshallah, I will be doing another video, hopefully, regarding the permissibility of Mawlid the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where I'll be hopefully with a bit of logic and inshallah common sense, it'll become clear to you. And I think that there can't be anybody out there that can refute that, because it's completely straightforward and simple to understand, inshallah. And hopefully that should settle the matter. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.